What's going on, guys? Okay, another Armed Prepared Citizen loadout video. Let me go ahead and get this out up front. If you haven't watched the intro video for this series, then I highly encourage you to stop and go watch it now before you go any further. It's the first one in the playlist that these videos are in for this series, and there's very important information in there. Context is everything when we're discussing this, and that video will give you a lot of the context and stuff I'm talking about. Some of it I will repeat and reiterate here. That all said, this video is going to be on what I would personally use for my situation if I were pulling static security. Okay, so again, context, things have gone really bad. I am with my family, friends, and group at the place we plan to be at, and it's my turn to pull static security. This is what I would be wearing. This is what I would be using. This is not meant to tell you what to use. This is not meant to suggest you're doing it wrong. This is not me asking for suggestions or anything else. I'm just showing you what I use. If you get some ideas from it, great. If you don't get any ideas from it and you're happy with your setup, great. I'm just throwing it out there for those of you that might pick up something from it and go, oh, I didn't think of that. I do that a lot watching other people's videos. I'll pick little things up here and there that, oh, gee, I should have thought of that. So that's why I'm doing these. So static security, that's what this one's about. So let's go take a look at what that would look like. All right, guys. So if I was working a static security position, this is pretty much how I would be loaded out. Now, again, got to reiterate, this is for my situation and my setup with the group of folks that I will be with, the location that we'll be at, the layout, what we've got in place, etc. This is all very specific and unique to me and what I'm doing, okay? So do not take this as me trying to suggest you need to mimic and copy what I'm doing. Work it out for you based on your situation, who you're going to be with, where you're going to be at, etc., etc. So obviously a rifle, but since this would be a static security position, which would be already prepared and in place, I would have good cover to be behind, which would also provide good concealment, and I'm not going to be moving around a lot. I'm most likely either going to be sitting or standing and on watch. So I can make some allowances there for weight and kind of turtle up with my armor to give me a little bit more protection, since I'm more likely to be a stationary target, again, sitting or standing in one location. Notice I don't have a lot of mags on here. I've only got 3 here and then 1 emergency spare right here on the belt. That's because most of my reloading, if I have to use it, is going to be from mags that are already in place in that security position. The exception to that would be as if I was on a roving security position where I was moving around from point to point, and in that case I would of course add in my little patrol pack, and I've got 3 more mags in there. So that gives me a total of 7 mags plus 1 in the gun. That should be more than enough to handle whatever should come up, considering who I'll have around and with me. If I'm at a static security position, I'll have one of these 2 packs with me. I'll either have my little Crossfire patrol pack, assault pack, or I'll have my direct action patrol pack. In those, I'll have the stuff that I'd want to have with me working that security position, depending on what it was, time of year, the expected threat, etc., etc. The one thing that I could change up in this setup, and both of these packs would allow me to have this with me, would be to have one of my helmets with me, either my actual Kevlar or just my bump helmet. Both of those will fit in the dedicated pockets on those packs, so I could have those with me. Wouldn't necessarily have to have them on all the time. It would just depend on whatever our SOP was that we established. Being armored up, I could throw this on, and then I've got, you know, some ballistic protection for the head. Again, depending on the position that I'm filling and how we've got the security for that position set up, it may be worth it because my head may be the only thing that's really exposed to any kind of potential threat. So I might want to have that on. If I'm up moving around, I'll probably just have this on, because the only reason that I'd be wearing those, other than in that static security position, would be to mount my night vision on, so I could have night vision to be able to see you move around. So that's really what the helmets are for me, primarily, is a way of mounting the night vision. The added protection that they give from bumps and bangs and stuff is a benefit, of course. Now the flip side to this, or not really the flip side, I guess I should say the addition to this that I didn't mention at the beginning, this setup would also double for me in a vehicle. So if I'm having to ride in a vehicle and go do whatever, heck, I don't mind armoring up. I don't mind having the helmet on and everything, because I'm not having to carry all the weight on my legs. And bullets or vehicles are bullet magnets, so why not? There's no reason not to armor up and keep myself, you know, protected good. So for vehicle use or static security, I'll probably change the title and put that in there. Could use this for a vehicle as well. Now again, for the context of this, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to sound like a broken record. If I'm breaking this stuff out and we're employing our plans, it's because there is no 911. There's no police to call. There's no rule of law. Things have gone bad, okay? That's when I'm breaking this stuff out. This wouldn't be just, you know, oh look, there's a thunderstorm. I mean, I think sometimes people tend to forget that context, that if we're using this stuff, I'm not worried about somebody calling the police, because there ain't no police for them to call, for me to call, or anybody else to call. That's why I've got this. That's why I'm using this, okay? So, static security position, I'd have my armor, I'd have my handgun, I would have my rifle, now I have one of my two backpacks, and one of the two helmets, just depending on what the setup was and what the situation was. So, again, hope that kind of gives you guys some ideas. You don't have to have, you know, friggin' 5,000 things on your gear, or in this case your plate carrier. Think about how you're going to be using it. Again, the example I use is I only run 3 mags on here because I'm going to use this in a static spot where I've already got mags pre-staged, right? The only other caveat I'll throw in real quick, because this just dawned on me, I would swap this out if I needed to, if I were going to run my AK instead of my AR. And that's just simple swap out of the front mag pouch right here for an AK one, and there we go. I can run my AK mags, or I can run my AR mags. Depends on the gun, I can tailor it from there. So again, hope that gives you guys some ideas, something to think about. This is limited to me and my scope and what I'm doing. If you got questions, I'll try to answer them. But again, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? Get your stuff set up for you, and if at all possible, don't look at things as a one-size-fits-all if you can. I know not everybody's financially available to do that. That's completely understandable. You make do with what you can, right? That's the bottom line up front. But if you can, have some dedicated setups depending on the situation. Now again, I say this is at our location that my family and group of friends will be at. For you, it may be your subdivision. You may, barricade off your subdivision, and you and the neighbors may be taking turns, pulling security at the front entrance or whatever. If I was in that situation, this is what I'd wear. So it doesn't necessarily always have to apply to my more rural setting. It could be more of a suburban setting as well, you could run kind of the same or similar setup. Again, dedicated for you. Take care, guys. Stay safe. Get out there and train and get prepared. I'll see you in the next one.